It's Friday morning, April 26th, and you are watching episode 5 of MU-2 The Build. This is the RC Jet Jock. What's going on, guys? I'm Matt, the RC Jet Jock, and we're not all just about jets on this channel. I just happen to fly them. Whether it's building, flying these awesome creations, or just spending time with the family, we've got you covered on this channel. And to all of our new viewers out there, welcome to our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you as part of our family. And to all of our faithful subscribers who tune in week after week, welcome back, guys. Y'all are the best part of this whole experience. Also, don't forget, we have a Facebook page where we're posting constantly, and it's a lot of stuff that you're not going to see on the channel. So come check us out, and we'll leave a link in the description section. Before we get started with the MU-2 build this week, I just wanted to thank y'all so much for the outpour of love that we received from you guys in the comments section in regards to the passing of my father-in-law. It really meant so much to our family in this time of healing to hear all of these kind words from you guys. And from our family to yours, thank you so much, and we're so happy to have you as part of the RC Jet Jock family. Now, this episode's going to be run a little bit different than y'all are used to. Obviously, we're going to have the update segment on how we got to this point, but after that, live on this episode, we're going to actually mount the center wing section to the fuselage and show y'all the technique we're going to use and the different tools that made it easy. So before we get to the update, let's reach into the mailbag and check out our airmail. All right, so today what we got in the mail were little plastic hinges that we intend on using for the spoilerons. Here, I'll show you a close-up. So these are kind of cool because, or I should say the spoilerons are kind of unique anyway, because, you know, they don't go down. They just go up, obviously, because they're spoilers. So if I can get this bag open, it's like indestructible plastic. So it's going to be kind of a cool system. So, you know, here's the little channel that we made for the mount. So they're just going to kind of rest on that channel, and then the servo on the inside is going to flip it up just like that. So kind of cool. And you know, the reason that it's so important is because these things got to sit flush down in these channels. So you couldn't have like a normal hinge because they would probably bind, or you would end up having to have a gap, and you want that to be really smooth so you don't disrupt the airflow. Well, only in a turn anyway. So that'll do it for the airmail segment. Now, moving right along, we got a lot done on the MU-2. I know it doesn't really look like we got a lot done here, but you know what? Let's show you the footage.
We started off the week by scaling and drawing out the motor mount boxes. Next, we cut out and notched each piece with the bandsaw. Darn it, the blade broke. I guess we're going to have to do this the old school way. After we cut out the walls, we cut up a square dowel for reinforcement on the inside of the box. Next, it was time to glue all the pieces together. We had to be very aware of which side went where, as we didn't want to mess this up and have to do that all over again. Because I assembled this all in one stroke, we had to babysit the Gorilla Glue because it kept trying to push the square dowels away from the corners. Now that the boxes are complete, it's time to trace their shape on the underside of the wing and remove the foam, because these boxes are actually going to go up through the wing and hook into the spar. And it'll look like this. Next, it was time to prepare the wings for the spoiler-on mounts. We had to use all 3 panels when we were doing these drawings, just so there wouldn't be any abnormalities between the outer and the inboard wing surfaces. Now I'm busting out those real scientific methods of measuring and cutting out all the parts for the inboard spoiler-on mounts. This was definitely more of an aggravating part of the process than I thought it was going to be, mostly because I don't think I was sufficiently caffeinated, and I kept making measurements wrong and putting parts on backwards, so I was having to cut and recut pieces constantly. It also didn't help that I had several design changes during this process. Boy, that can make things get confusing in a hurry. After all the pieces were cut, we made sure that they were labeled so we knew exactly where each piece went, because let's face it, my brain wasn't firing on all cylinders that morning. Then we got out that trusty hot glue gun and started gluing all the pieces into position. And here's a close-up view of how it all came together. Now it's time to start working on the wing mounting plates. We notched out the foam on the leading edge of the middle section of the wing so the mounting plates could be glued into position flush. This plate will have two dowels glued into it that will insert themselves into the fuselage. Now goes on the rear mounting plate. And finally, we're gluing together the recepting ends on the fuselage side. This is the finished product. Now back to the shop.
Yeah, you see, we did get a lot done, but it was all kind of small, tedious work. I'm going to come around here and show you all this because it just looks really, really cool. So what we did when we made the engine mounts, we're also going to be securing it into the spar just for some extra strength and support. So it's going to kind of fit like this. So not only is it going to be hooked into the spar, but we're also going to have the metal carry through going through here. And we're going to put a floor inside of here to hold those two sides. And it's just going to be more support to the main spar of the wing. So I feel like that's going to be plenty strong enough, plenty beefy for sure. But that looks really good actually seeing this come along. Now, we did actually secure some motor mounts, or not motor mounts, we all saw the motor mount last week. But we got the mounting brackets down here for the motors, so we actually found all those. So, you know, this project is really moving right along, so we're really excited. So, and then obviously we got the aileron channels dug, and they're going to extend all the way out through the wings, obviously. So, exciting stuff. It's coming along. Like I said, it didn't look like much, but we did quite a bit. It was just small, tedious stuff. So now let's move on to the main show where we're going to go ahead and start working on getting these wings bolted onto the fuselage. So let's show y'all how we're going to go about it. So here's our wing bolts. We got the blind nuts right there, and we're just going to use these plastic breakaway bolts. That way, if we put a wing into the ground or something, hopefully these will shear instead of our wings. But I'm about 50-50 on that gamble. When you've been flying for over 24 years, you put one in the ground every once in a while for sure. So, all right. So we got to find a drill bit that's about the right size for these blind nuts, and then we're going to get on it. All right, so we found ourselves a drill bit right here. Yay! And as you can see, it's the same size as that blind nut, so that should just show right in there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to line First thing we're going to do is we're going to line everything up and make sure that we are centered. And the cool thing is, and you know, I haven't seen this a lot in kits that I've built in the past, or maybe you guys have done it. There's a fly there. Is I've actually put centering marks on here to make sure that the wings are going to be perfectly straight whenever we do this. So. And the nice thing is we got a nice straight, even keel all the way down, so that's even better. So we got that straightened. We've got that one right down the middle, so it's a leap of faith now. So it's time to get these holes drilled. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this thing in position, and I'm going to drill all the way through our plate into the receiving plate on the fuselage side. So it's all going to be just one hole straight through, guaranteed to be lined up from the get-go for sure. So punching holes always makes me nervous. So all right, so let's I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple of marks here just so I don't accidentally do this too far back to where it doesn't allow me to have enough meat on the bite here. So I'm just making a little mark there because that's even with the back of the plate. And then I'm going to go around this other side too. And I'm going to do that similarly. Okay, so I know this is not very scientific, guys, and I'm sure all of you traditional builders are like cringing, like, oh, what is he doing? But that's all right. Sometimes cringeworthy TV is the best, right? All right, so there's that and that. All right, so. And then I use really accurate things for measuring, you know, just normal things I have around the shop. Trying to find a good even distance. Yeah, that looks good enough. So I'm gonna put that one there. I'm gonna make a little mark. And then here's what I'm gonna even do further. So I'm gonna make a little, well, maybe not. All right, so I'm gonna just make a little mark that this is the distance that I want it at. Same thing on this side. Oh boy, I'm telling you what, I'm making some people just probably cringe with this. All right, so I made the marks where I'm gonna put the bolts. Now let me just make sure that that's in there good enough. Yeah, that's got plenty of meat on that side. Plenty of meat on that side, so good. Good. All right, now let's find some spacing from the bottom of that. That's a nice halfway point. That's even a little long, actually. Let's see if I can find something a little bit better. I know y'all are probably thinking, oh man, this dude's lost his mind. All right, so that looks good. All right, so I made my marks where I'm going to put my holes down. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm sure we moved things around a little bit, so let's just make sure it's all centered. Don't want crooked wings. We're still centered and good. All right, so I guess it's the moment of truth now, so here goes nothing. And you know what? Probably not a bad idea, because it's probably going to be moving because of this. So here's what I'm going to do, is I'm actually going to come around over here, and I'm going to drill these holes out on the table first, trying not to puncture the table. Then we'll come back and do the wing holes next. Okay, so there's one. Yeah, that went much easier, guys. Sorry, it's taking a little while for the coffee to kick in this morning, apparently. But you know what? I come up with some of my best ideas and some of my stupidest ideas in the morning. So, well, it'll be. We'll have to let you know which one that this is. If this was a good or a bad decision. All right, so we're centered there. We're centered there. In fact, you know what? I keep talking about this. I'll show you the tick marks on these two sides. All right, so, I mean, this is as good as we're gonna get, so here we go. Still centered, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of making a vague shape of the hole. Yep, so we got two good shapes now. So now we can finish off. Man, I'm telling you what, those shock absorbers and those landing gear are working well. All right, so. Clean it out a little. All right, here goes the next one. it out a little. Now let's see if our blind nut's going to fit, or is it going to need a little bit more cleaning. Feels like it's going to fit nicely. Good. All right. All right, so now we got the blind nuts in. I'll glue them in later. Okay, first part's done. Next, we're going to bolt them on. So if I can figure out where my ding-dong self put those, here they are. Maybe I need to screw them in first to get the wood out of the way. Right now we have some wood particles, it looks like, blocking the wing bolt from getting to everything. Let's see here. Let's clear it. Oh yeah, that was bad. So we're going to clear that out. All right, so let's see if that's going to do it. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so pull that even tighter. Okay, so got that one. Is this one going to work too? Yep, they're going to work. Perfect. All right, now we're cooking. Put this back on. There we go. I have a whole bunch of screwdrivers, but no flatheads. Let me go grab one. I'll be right back. I have a garage full of tools, and I can't find one. Of course, it's always the one that you need, you know? Here, maybe this servo hit. Yeah. You know, back in the day, we used to do this with quarters. No! I popped it out on the inside. That's okay. Here. That's all right. The wings aren't moving, so that means we did our job. Now, we remain centered. That's a good thing. So now what we're going to do is these two right here are going to be the receiving ends of two dowels that are going to go through the holes like that. So you'll put the wing on forward, drop it down, and then you would bolt these ones on after I glue them. So anyway, let's go around over here, and we're going to just kind of drill our holes. Oh, I'm going to use these dowels, so we need a bigger drill bit that's meant for those dowels. Now we're through. So now we can pull these off, and then we can make those holes, and we'll dry fit it and see how well it works. So now we just got to finish out these holes right here where we have little guys drawn on there. I'm gonna have to sit down. This is gonna be kind of a delicate dance here, for sure. There we go. Now we're through. Okay, so moving right along. We're gonna dry fit it now. There's our dowels. And how this should work is, in theory, we shall see. Hold on. Let me clean up the backs here, because they're a mess. If I was proper, I would sand them, but no one's ever known me to be proper. So why should I change now? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's open them up a little bit more here. All right, so those are in. Now, are things going to line up? Yep, well, that just dropped that one through. That's okay. It looks like the holes are going to line up just fine. And they're a little tail heavy, obviously, because we don't have motors attached, but feels pretty stiff too. All right, guys, so I'm just going to glue these different parts in real quick. Y'all don't need to be here for that. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this episode and y'all learned a little something maybe, or y'all think I'm just more of a slacker. Either way, please, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time on the next update for the MU-2. That's episode 6, by the way. We'll see you next time. Bye.